Morning and welcome to Event Horizons. I'm your anchor, Dr. Robin Falkov, and it is a pleasure to be here with you this morning. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, let me tell you a little bit about myself, and I would also like to tell you a little bit about Event Horizons. This just came up yesterday, and we thought it might be interesting for you guys to hear this again. So let me get this up for you, because many of you are new and you might not have heard all about Event Horizons. So I know this will give producer Jerry and Solaris a smile. And here we go. So this is kind of the concept here, okay, guys, for Event Horizons, because many of you know that quote by Jack Nicholson, "In A Few Good Men, you can't handle the truth." Well, you can, and Event Horizons will give you those truths. So when you're mad as hell and not going to take it anymore from that classic movie network, you know just what to do. We will draw you in and become your news addiction. We are changing the paradigm to give you what you did not know you so desperately need. We're with you Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. to noon, and you can find us always on freedomslips.com, the home of Revolution Radio, and Event Horizons, and What They Don't Want You to Know, and lots of others. Okay, guys, a little bit of nostalgia. I can't believe it's, what is this now, February? It's 6 months. Gosh, we were trying to count how many shows, and I guess it's easy to do the math when we just multiply it by every week. But it is wonderful, and it is such a valuable opportunity to connect with so many people, because this audience is such an educated audience. It just is outstanding when I think of some of the comments that I've received. And the feedback that we get on Facebook and from some people in the chat room that are actually following the show, it is impressive. I really have to tell you, and it just makes all the hosts feel good to know that their information is being received and that these things, many of the suggestions, will be shared, because you guys have enormous power and you don't even realize it. The power to make somebody's day brighter, the power to put a smile on someone's face, and the power to let them know that they are not alone, which is a big deal, my friends, because way too many are disconnected and they think that they're outcasts because their friends and family ridicule them. Well, they are not outcasts. They are just ahead of the curve. They are aware. They are sensing the changes that are happening, and they just want more information. That's what it comes down to, because with more information, we can be prepared. And we can do that when we share the information that so many others just don't have access to. So, for those of you who would like to contact me, I welcome that. My website is healthfreedomrights.com, and that is my focus, protecting our health freedom rights, all of our rights, especially our rights to have access to that necessary information so we can make those informed choices, guys, because that's what it comes down to. Don't be one of the people who says later, "Oh, if only I had known." Dig around. You've got every resource at your fingertips. Let your fingers do the typing, guys. Just here when you look through the archives of the shows. And we are so appreciative of the many of you who help out and pay $4.95 a month for the podcast, so it makes your lives kind of easy to load and leave and be able to hear our shows anytime and share them. Remember that mission, guys. Don't put in the earbuds and let the shows play and strike up those conversations. But we are the largest listener-sponsored radio online, and that's a big deal because you guys make the difference. We're all volunteer here, and you guys can get involved and volunteer as well. Lots of things to do. So I urge you, check out all the information at freedomslips.com. You can check out the information on my site, healthfreedomrights.com, and I will be doing some major updates in the very near future because there's just a lot of information I've been asked questions about and stories that I promised to write up, and I just have to get to this one big paper, and it's going to be a good one. But right now, waiting to come on, we have Melanie Vritschan. And Melanie is our team member covering covert technologies. She is in Brussels, Belgium. And there are some really disturbing events that have taken place recently with activists in her area. And I was really saddened to hear the outcome of a court case. But I will let Melanie tell these stories. And welcome, Melanie. Good afternoon to you.
Hello, good afternoon, Robin.
How are you today?
I'm okay. Yeah, my friend Wendy has gone back. She has gone back she found a job in Turkey. So I hope, yeah.
She likes to move around.
Yes. So I hope it's better for her there, because she used to be in Istanbul, and there she was also very much harassed, but now she's gone to another city, so let's hope it is better there. But as you said, last Wednesday actually there was a trial in Ghent, of Peter Verreke, who's the leader of the major citizens' rights movement here in Belgium, the Belfort Group. And I really wanted to go there because it was supposed to be the pronunciation of the verdict. But unfortunately my car had yet again been vandalized, happens. Yeah, to so many targeted individuals, victims of electronic terrorism, that their property is ransacked and vandalized. So I'm no exception. So unfortunately, I couldn't go there because it's an hour's drive from Brussels in Ghent. But I heard the verdict, and it was indeed that he had been sentenced to a fine for about 4,000 euros for sending these emails to the Flemish Health Ministry, emails of concern regarding the vaccinations and all the toxic substances that we find in the vaccinations that are then injected into our children. Yeah, it was very. I saw he sent a message before. It is not really understandable. This verdict is very contradictory. In fact, there were two major charges, and the first one, he was actually he was accused by a very high-ranking civil servant in the ministry for stalking charges, because he sent these emails, and they said that he was stalking the ministry. So they said that on the stalking charges, he was not convicted for harassment. He didn't create any nuisance to the ministry because they said that he only thought that what he was doing, was the right thing, and he was speaking for many hundreds of concerned citizens. So they said. Then first we thought this was going in the right direction, because they said, okay, for this he's acquitted, no charge for this. So we said, wow, but then the shock came, because on the second charge, and this is why it's totally contradictory, they said that he still was guilty because although he didn't create any nuisance to the ministry and, it was no harassment, he still overused the means of electronic communications to create nuisance. And So it is not very clear, because on the one hand they said that he only thought that he was doing the right thing, and he was not harassing them, he wasn't stalking them, and he was talking for others. But then he was still stalking them, and then he was still harassing them because he overused the emails. New ways of communication. So it is not really clear. It's not very easy to understand this verdict. It doesn't seem to be very logical. What we heard about the judge was also that this was a judge who was very young. He was newly appointed. So it might have also played a role that he did not really dare to stand up and didn't have the guts to stand up to his hierarchy. So and still looked for some kind of sentence. Yeah.
I have to tell you, Melanie, this is so similar to what our next team member was talking about, Dory Hippoff, that they're trying to do to people in the States. There is actually a senator who wants to pass a bill that for people to question that fracking be examined for their area, or she'll correct me if I'm messing this up, but basically for people to file claims to try to stop it, there'd be a fee of $5,000.
It is outrageous. And then they even had the audacity to bill this fine, in this €4,000 fine. They billed an amount for the time they had to spend to read his email, which is totally outrageous, because if you think that these are public servants, they're paid by the state to do their job, it's quite outrageous then to bill the time that they read the citizens' health concerns, which I would think that's what they're there for.
Well, can there be an appeal? Because that's ridiculous. It's like saying it's okay for them to have an extra job at the same time while they're doing their job for we the people in Belgium, but you have to pay them because of their second job.
Yes.
It's nuts.
It is nuts, yeah. So, yes, there will be an appeal. I had him on the phone yesterday, and he said that definitely he'll file an appeal. I think he has 15 days to do that. So under the Belgian law, so his lawyer has asked for now we have just heard the verdict. I mean, orally, he's asked for the written the text in writing. So this he will probably receive in the next few days, and then he has 2 weeks to file an appeal, and he'll definitely file an appeal. So. Yeah, because
I'm happy to hear that, but I mean this is just kind of craziness. I remember when I first learned about the laws of the European Union, that was back in the early 2000s, when I explored more in depth about Codex, and it is crazy what they do for member countries to even try to participate. It can only be a country and not an individual. It's stuff that just boggles the mind. So this is. This is almost like a Saturday Night Live skit, Melody. It is just so ridiculous that people have to pay a government employee for the people, and you have to pay for them to read your email and get penalized on top of it.
Yes, there was definitely an amount that they allocated for reading his emails, which is, outrageous. Actually, a couple of times, already when I was there the first time, and here as well, because there was a little video that was done about the whole, the trial was filmed, and also later a few citizens were interviewed about their reaction. And this was one of these moments when actually there was, like everybody, there was an outcry. Everybody was like, and the other moment, like booing and laughing, and I mean, it sounds so insane. And the other moment was when at the first trial, when I was there, that actually prosecutors started out saying that Mr. Verreke was leading a cyber war, which is, I mean, it's ridiculous, a cyber war against the ministry. And that this would certainly be a 3-month sentence in jail would certainly be appropriate. I mean, that's what they were looking at. So he didn't get a jail sentence at least, but he got this fine, which is anyway outrageous. But and then she said, she went on saying, well, the question is then, do the people in the ministry, are they still able to function correctly when they have to deal with reading Mr. Verreke's frequent emails?
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Melanie, this is a cartoon. It's not real.
It was a cartoon, and that was, the other moment when there was a very strong reaction from the public. Everybody was laughing and was booing, and the judge was then very quick to say, okay, order in the courtroom. I'm very open, to have a open discussion, and you're very welcome here, the public, to listen to, to the debate. But I would very strongly ask for you not to meddle with the debate and to refrain from any kind of comments. So he was very quick to try to silence the public, but it was very clear that these kind of comments were just ridiculous. I personally thought that in making this kind of statement that the ministry is not able to function anymore because they have to read Peter's emails. She didn't shed a very positive light on the ministry. That didn't make them look very good.
I'm kind of wowed by this. I mean, I would be really that would be the answer to covering a lot of the things I need. If people had to pay me to read my emails, wow. I mean, that's a really interesting thing. Can you educate us, Melanie, a little bit about the law in Brussels? I mean, what happens? First, you have this judge saying how he wants participation. That's what it sounded like. And then, of course, you just can't say anything. So, the law, the public these debates are open, so they're open to the public. The judge has the right to close the doors, to have it in closed doors if he judges this necessary, but this they didn't do, so we were all allowed in the courtroom. So it was a little bit, you're not supposed to participate, that is true, but it was a little bit, the thing is that what she was saying was so ridiculous that, people could not help but laugh, now he will file an appeal. He said it's 100% sure that I'll file an appeal, and I think he should do that. So we will know now. In 15 days he has to file it, and then he should get a court date in the next date. When you go into appeal, that can take some time. So he should probably get a court date somewhere in summer, I would say. Maybe June, July, depending on how many cases they have to deal with. Right, how many emails they have to read to slow them down. Come on.
Yeah.
So, Melanie, do the people,
shocking.
This will sound stupid.
Yeah, if I may add just one more thing, what was very shocking is, indeed, that sounds really totalitarian almost to me, is that the judge also said that it is true that the minister once replied to Peter saying that, I don't know if he replied in writing or if they even met. In any case, he said that he's not, he has looked into this and he doesn't consider his claims valuable, and so he just informed him very shortly that he would close the case and not investigate this any further. And, Peter then, tried to respond and say, well, on what grounds? Because what I'm sending you are very scientific articles, it's not me who's saying that. This is saying by experts, what is in these vaccines. And I must say we keep being concerned. And the judge said, and I was very shocked by this, that once the minister says to you that he closes the case, you're not allowed anymore to write further emails or to address further requests to them.
I think it's nuts. Do people have the right to free speech like we're supposed to have here in the States, in the European Union?
Yeah, that's it's supposedly one of your fundamental rights, like in the US. But very clearly, in this case, this fundamental right is not respected. It's violated because it surely seems that it's really freedom of expression that was on trial here, and that it's very heavily suppressed. So I think Peter is absolutely right to file an appeal and not to accept this. Because that was the other moment when the public reacted quite strongly when he said that once the ministry tells you that he closes the case, you're not allowed to ask any more questions.
This is crazy.
Yeah.
Melanie, I think this is like they're putting up, there's a phrase, an expression called a trial balloon. They want to see if the people in the European Union will accept this kind of thing. And then if they do, they'll try to do that around the world to silence those of us who are calling attention, to our basic rights being violated.
True. It definitely seemed like, and also with this, like producer Jerry says, very muddy verdict. You don't really know what to think of it. It's very contradictory in fact. I thought, I had this feeling indeed, like you say, Robin, that it was a little bit to test our limits and to see what they could get away with.
Yep. Oh my gosh, Melanie, I'm so sorry to hear that. Please, if there's breaking news with this, you're welcome to come on, at another time just to give a brief update because we want to hear about this case. Does it help? Is there a place to write and bury them in more emails? Can we Americans do that so you don't get fined? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I guess you could, So I think what was definitely good was that that's what I think the judge got the message that as there were so many people that showed up, he probably thought that, he might have to deal just with Peter and maybe the family and a few, just a dozen maybe supporters or so, and 250 people showed up. And the courtroom was totally packed and full, and I think that did make an impression on them. That they got the message saying, this is not going to be so easy to get away with what they were trying to do. So I think any support can help,
Sure.
As long as you don't overstep the threshold of the acceptable emails, as the judge put it, although he never, he didn't really say what is the threshold of acceptable emails. But I think you could definitely send one or two emails of support. That's definitely not not stalking. So it's ridiculous because it's anyway all right. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't want to be stopped at the airport when we're going to Europe, and we give our passport, and they say, "Oh, you have fines and you have to pay because you sent emails."
Yeah, I know.
Oh gosh,
it's outrageous. So, but let's say what the appeal brings, and hopefully we can get our fundamental rights back.
Oh, yes, Liz. Hopefully, yes. Hopefully we have to demand it. So if you could give that contact information where people can reach you and where they can send emails so it doesn't come from you because we don't want you getting hit with a big bill.
Yeah, so, my contact information, the best thing is probably to reach me via the EUCACH email. So it's on the EUCACH website. So it's EUCACH.org. EUCACH.org. When you will see that it says contact, and there's an email, a contact email. So if people want to, comment on this case, give their opinion, or send emails of support, we will be glad at EUCACH to forward them on to Peter, and so that would certainly be a good, I think a good thing.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. And if you think it's better that there's the email that Peter used to write to these officials that are so overloaded, so that
yes,
as well.
What I could give you, I'm just seeing if I find it here now. Actually, I could give you the Peter's email from the Belfort group. The citizens' rights group, of which Peter is the leader, and I'm also a member. And if people want to write to him directly, I think that's even better, because to get some email of support, it's always good, and maybe that could help him in his next trial, to see, well, there are even people from America or from the world that want to support me and that have expressed their support, so I'm just looking if I can find this email, and if I do, I'll put it in the chat.
That's great, and then we can read it. And I'm just trying to bypass anything being connected to you or Peter, and have a whole bunch of Americans just send emails to whoever the government officials are about what kind of a case is there. You have to pay to tell your government what your concerns are, so that your email will be read.
Yes, I will try to find that email as well, and